Story 1. 51-year-old male here. Financial. At the start of the new year, go to the Internal Revenue Service website and use the withholding calculator. Update your W-4 form accordingly. Max out your 401k if you can. Save a minimum of 10% into an interest-bearing money market account for emergencies. Save another 10% for fun. Try to buy a house. I know it's hard right now. Relationships. The grass is greener where you water it. Take one night every week to just hang out and talk with your significant other. No television shows, just music and conversation. When she is complaining, ask, "Do you want me to try to fix it or just listen?" If she says, "I'm fine," when you ask if she wants anything to eat, get her food anyway. Sex. Learn to use your tongue and fingers. It's not all about penile vaginal intercourse. Use her toys. Make her happy first. She will go out of her way to reciprocate. Sometimes just cuddle naked. No sex. That builds intimacy. Self-workout, whether that's bodyweight exercises or weightlifting. Keep at it. Also, look into yoga. It's very good for your body, even once a week. Stop drinking alcohol. If you don't want to stop completely, stop drinking beer. Count calories. It helps keep the weight off. Get therapy. Talkspace is affordable and easy to set up. Use it. Kids, read to them when they are little. Get on the floor and play with them. Tell them you love them. Story 2. Money may not buy happiness, but it buys security. When your needs are met and you have peace of mind, it is much easier to be kind and creative. Life is not about you versus the world. It is really you versus yourself. Try to be a little better each day, and you will be surprised by the seeds you have planted 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years from now. Softness is not weakness. Everyone is going through their own struggle, and if we all cared just a little bit, the world would be immeasurably better. Story 3. No one is going to save you. No one cares about your feelings. You have to be the one who saves yourself and takes care of yourself. Story 4. In your 30s, you start to feel the weight of everything you ignored in your 20s. The time you wasted, the people you gave too much of yourself to, the habits you thought would not catch up with you. They do. You wake up some mornings and feel behind, like everyone else has figured it out and you are still stuck. You carry regrets quietly, opportunities you did not take, words you wish you said, years you cannot get back. You look around and realize your circle is smaller not because you outgrew people but because some connections were never real to begin with. It hurts when people you thought would be there just fade away. You stop expecting help. You understand no one is checking in on you unless you are useful to them. You learn to keep going with no applause, no recognition. Just you versus your own thoughts. And those thoughts can be brutal. The self-doubt, the pressure to be further ahead, the fear that maybe this is all life has to offer. You smile in front of people but carry stress in your chest that never really leaves. The hardest part is knowing you still have time but feeling like you have already wasted too much. You want to change but you are tired. Tired of starting again. Tired of holding it all in. Tired of being strong because you have no other choice. But somehow you keep showing up. Quietly, broken or not. And that is what makes you dangerous. Story 5. At 47, my body doesn't work like it used to even 7 years ago. The decline in physical ability is real, and it is frustrating. I exercise daily and have still seen a decline. Food is fuel. You are what you eat and drink. If you eat unhealthy food, you will feel unhealthy. People do not realize this in their 20s and 30s when they can still get away with eating junk. Money is a tool to do things. Do not chase it. Work-life balance is necessary for a good life. Investing while young sets you up for a better experience in midlife. Story 6. No one cares about you, but you can look at it from a sad mindset or a liberating mindset. Sad. No one would care if I die, no one wants me. Glad. I can do what I want. The judgment of others is minuscule and irrelevant. Once you choose glad, you enjoy yourself more, within reason, without hurting or disturbing others or yourself. Story 7. Nobody is coming to save you. If you make a mistake, people may help you. But in the end, if you do not look after yourself, nobody will. Story 8. To stop feeling anxiety, you need to learn to slow down your thinking. That feeling of being calm and able to concentrate is happiness. You do not necessarily smile while you do it, but you do not feel a fire at your ankles. Let the young feel anxiety because, after all, they have a future to be scared of. I have lived almost half my life already. I am not looking forward with fear or backward with regret for more than a few minutes. I get to have another day, and the older I get, the more I realize how lucky I am. Story 9. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The expectations I had for myself when I was a teenager or in my 20s, most of that did not happen, but now at 38, it finally has. Do not give up on your goals just because you missed some arbitrary timeline you thought was the right time. For example, if you wanted to buy a home by 26 and you did it at 32, so what? Things happen, you did it eventually. I am a very organized person, but these things take time. It was not until I was 35 that I truly committed to things I should have done by age 30. And now I am almost 39 and incredibly content with where I am in life. Nothing gives me anxiety or stress anymore. It all worked out. So have goals, that's fine, but do not hold yourself or your goals as immovable. Story 10. You only get one chance to go through life. Why waste it trying to be someone you are not? Do the things that interest you. Be who you want to be. Do not take everything too seriously. Story 11. Take a look around at your close friends and family. Some of them will grow up into people you do not recognize and would not associate with. Others you will simply grow distant from. The older you get, the less time you have, and you cannot fit everyone into your life. Try not to take offense if you are on the receiving end of this. The flip side is that some of them will solidify into lifelong relationships, which is really special. You will meet new people or grow closer to people in your life who will surprise you in retrospect. I am in my mid-30s, and some of my closest friends are people I used to be distant from in my social circles. Some of my old best friends I barely talk to or are no longer in my life. Story 12. The earlier you stop doing physical and mental exercises, the harder they are to start again. In my 20s, I could not run for 3 months and then go out and run a 7-minute mile with no problem. If I do not run for 3 months now, it is much harder to run a mile at any pace without feeling very fatigued. Lesson. Take care of your brain and your body and start young. Story 13. Everything you thought you did to impress everyone. Muscles, expensive watches, flashy cars, big salaries, tropical getaways. Impresses nobody. In fact, people who can also attain such things are not impressed, and people who cannot will strongly dislike you for having them. Story 14. Good bed. Happy home. Regular fighting in relationships is a red flag. Do not get into debt other than your mortgage. Treat yourself and do not oversave money. Take great care of your parents as they age. Accept that anything you fight against will fight against you in return, nobody else. Friends may be jealous of you instead of being your friend like they used to be. Find a job that helps others. Remember that many people have much harder lives than you, unimaginable in some cases. Forgive yourself. Story 15. Don't give people advice if they did not ask for it. They may tell you things and you might feel like they are asking for advice. Mostly, they just want to tell someone. I always ask them directly, do you just want to tell me about this? Or do you want my advice? Story 16. Younger people will see me as uncool now no matter how cool I am or was. Sex becomes more of a chore with age, not because it is not fun, but because you are not 19 with energy to be intimate all day long. No matter how young I feel or look, my body is aging. I cannot fight gray hairs on my beard or wrinkles on my face. At some point, you will have to accept the responsibilities of a full adult. That means paying for things you do not want to, doing things you do not want to, having no room to complain, and often navigating life on your own because your parents are about to leave this world and your friends cannot support you like in middle or high school. Story 17. Life is beautiful and full of opportunities everywhere, even if you do not see them at first. Approach the world with curiosity and a willingness to learn, and never become complacent. Also, some foods you used to love will eventually make your stomach hurt. Story 18. Who you marry is the most important decision in your life. Being young and in love is not enough. Story 19. Put yourself first, whether it's health, happiness, or work. Hit the gym and eat healthy because your health leads to a better quality of life. Go for that raise or promotion or quit to get a better job. Don't be surprised when your friends throw their lives away for a tiny bit of money or short-term pleasure. Go places and see things when you are young, not when you are too old to enjoy them. You get old fast, believe me. Stop chasing after women who don't reciprocate. I can't stress this enough. You are throwing time and energy at someone who dislikes you with a smile. The right woman will be a good partner who makes your life easier, not harder. Whatever you have can be lost. In fact, you might lose all of it and really fast too. Story 20. Holy cow, how were my parents raising me at this age? I barely feel like I even know how to do taxes. Also, holy cow, my parents are getting old, and at the exponential rate time keeps going faster and faster. I feel like in the blink of an eye, I will be there too. Story 21. The old man telling you not to lift that without help was completely correct. Your body pays when you are older. Story 22. Gratitude is the absolute key to happiness. Happiness is never guaranteed. You must create it by letting go and being grateful for the life you have and the people around you. Story 23. Everyone you know will get sick and die. You might think you know, but you do not really know. Not until your friends and their parents start dying because they did not pay enough attention to their own health. Think about growing up in your hometown and being in your 80s. Your classmates are now weekly entries in the local newspaper obituaries. You keep a bakery on speed dial so that you can bring the cake that everybody likes to the after-funeral dinner. If you have never accomplished anything worthwhile, you missed your chance. Unless you are some sort of local celebrity, you will go into the grave celebrated by few and forgotten by many. This is why you should be kind to other people regardless of their status in life. Kindness is one of those things that everyone can pay forward. You teach it to your children so that they can carry on the tradition and make the world better than they found it. Also, people are usually successful because they traveled the road less traveled. They either have A, an exceptional heritage, born rich, B, an exceptional talent, or C, lucked out while having an ability to take exceptional risks. Todd Graves has a company that makes the most flavorless chicken on earth, but he is also worth about $17 billion because he saw the potential in having a small menu with quality ingredients and quick service. Story 24. I wish I could restart my 20s with the maturity of my 30s. I often see people in their 20s ask those in their 30s how to manage getting older as if it is a negative. 20-year-old me was an idiot, and I do not even look back at him as the same person. He is a complete stranger to me. My advice to my younger self or any young man would be to seek out personal growth. Nothing will change you more. If you are like me, you will not have a choice. Many people will not stick by your side and love you forever. So learn to love yourself. Story 25. Time does speed up. I swear I brought my daughter home just a few months ago, but she is over 3 years old and is a whole person now. Story 26. In relationships, women trust and respect you more when you say no to them sometimes and do not jump at their every whim. Story 27. When I reached 30, I realized I was not going to be rich and retired at 35. I was making decent money but not enough to retire. Story 28. Aging is difficult, and you are basically responsible for your family members' poor decisions and finding a solution. Story 29. 1. No boss ever went to visit anybody in the mental institute or hospital after burnout. Work hard, give it 90%, but always keep 10% in reserve for your own health. The same boss will not pay you a bonus because you worked so much. Your partner left you because they never got to see you. You were always stressed and tired. The if he wanted to, he would also applies to women. She will not change. Do not wait, pray, or hope she will. All you do is hurt yourself. A big car, fancy clothes, and an expensive watch do not make you happy. The only people who will care are those who do not genuinely care about you. And what my dad told me: never let a girlfriend or partner get between you and your family. Do not neglect your family or best friend because your partner is demanding. Story 30. Make financial plans and save whenever you can. Look into safe investments and avoid loans. Do not open accounts or contracts if you do not need to. If you get a credit card, keep the limit low and within your monthly means. Avoid subscriptions and monthly payments unless it is something you truly want or need. Treat yourself when you have done something good. Do not be hard on yourself when you make mistakes. That is part of life, and at least you tried. Take your leave. It does not help to burn yourself out over a job. Story 31. It is okay to let people move on and out of your life if they no longer enrich it or belong there, even if they once did. Story 32. Some people need a job that gives a lot of money but does not make them happy or fulfilled. When you grow out of poverty, including cultural and social poverty, you need to work for a better material and intellectual future. Escaping intergenerational poverty is more important than being authentic. Story 33. Grind mentality is how anything meaningful ever gets done. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is what you need. I do not want to go for a run in the morning. I want to sleep in, but I do it anyway because I want the long-term gains. I do not want to work on my project at night. I want to spend time and play games with my wife, but I want to build my own prototype more. Sustained incremental gains over time move mountains. Story 34. You are 100% responsible for your own happiness. If something is not working, you have to make a change. Do not ever think that anyone else is prioritizing your happiness. It is up to you. Story 35. Most things that people care about are not that important. Hard work, dedication, and ability are not rewarded with respect or higher pay. People get angrier at those calling out injustice, whether large or small, than at the actual wrongdoers. Most people are much less intelligent than you think. Everyone deserves empathy, but some people are broken, and it is too late to fix most of them. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Be careful who you share your true thoughts with. They are not going to change, and you cannot fix them, but you can escape. Story 36. 1. It's not some magic age where things happen. It's literally another weird year, like being 27 or 23, but you might be able to celebrate it because it's 3 decades and 30 looks cool on paper. What I mean by this is you're not going to have your life sorted out just because you're 30 now. You're also not going to be old and dead because you're 30 now. I built it up to be this big thing, but in reality, it was just another day. Sort your health out now, but be flexible. In your 20s, you have the ability to be young enough to have fun and live to the fullest. Start building habits like going to the gym, running, and dieting now. You could honestly get away with a 60-40 lifestyle and live a fulfilling 20s. Try studying now if you don't have kids and it's been on your mind. Recovery and drinking are harder, but it's not that I can't go on a 5-day bender. It's that I don't want to because I understand what that takes away from me. When you're 20 with nothing and no expectations, you can afford to waste 2 weeks drinking. In your 30s, time is more precious. People might rely on you. You might have a serious job. You might need to set an example for your kids or younger family members. I could carry on like I'm 20 and be the cool 30-year-old, but let's see how popularity pays my bills and fulfills my dreams. You will be 30 and expected to act a certain way by society. Don't freak out. Just wing it and you will get used to it. That goes for everything. Never stop improving. Most people I grew up with gave up at 25. They believed they were too old. Sadly, they might get to live another few decades but spend more time in regret and sadness than actually evolving. Didn't make it in professional sports? Great, move on to something else. Work hard and keep going. The most successful people are the ones who didn't give up. Story 37. You do not have to follow a trajectory for life. Just go at your own pace, I would say. Turning 30 soon. Story 38. You are not guaranteed to live into your 80s or 90s. Last year, one of my friends died due to heart complications after catching heat stroke. He was not even 40 and he is gone. Story 39. Start working out in your 20s and do not stop, even if it is just maintenance workouts. If it gets really hard to start in your late 30s, study diligently. Go to school and earn degrees or find internships while you can. Get a job where you can afford to enjoy your life. Do not ever settle for anything. Always strive to do better, always find a better way, and never stop moving forward. Story 40. Be yourself is the best relationship advice. Throughout high school and my early 20s, I would get a crush on a girl. She'd have a type, so I would become that type to get her attention. She was into gangster guys. I would buy some jerseys and a do-rag. She was emo. I wore all black. I even ended up dating some of them, but it never worked out because we didn't have shared interests. She wasn't into me. She was into what I was pretending to be. You have to put in the work. Decide for yourself who you are, what you like, what makes you happy, and find someone on the same page. I promise they're out there. Any hobby or interest you can think of has many girls into it too. Just be yourself, and whoever falls for you will actually be falling for you. On that note, don't rely on nobody's perfect. Sure, nobody is, but that's not an excuse to stop working on yourself. Take an honest assessment. Could you lose weight? Learn a new language? How are you spending your free time, and does it help you grow? Also, if you want to attract girls, learn to cook and take the toilet seat off to clean it. Story 41. Nobody cares about what you do or how you are perceived as much as you do, and if someone does, they generally are not worth your time and energy. Story 42. 1. Please listen to your elders when they talk to you about life. I do not care how young you are. Take care of your body and take vitamins. I do not care if you are 20. Knee and back pain hits you quickly once you hit 30. Do not ever say, I am young, I have time. Life hits you fast. In the blink of an eye, 10+ years are gone. I remember my 30th birthday party, and I blinked, and here I am at 39. It is never too late to start over. You think as you age life stops. It does not. Go back to school, move to a new city, change careers, it does not matter. You are never too old for a fresh start. Story 43. Listen more than you talk. The best time to start doing something was years ago, but the second best time is now. Story 44. The habits you develop or break now will have lasting repercussions for the remainder of your life. Heavy drinking, smoking, or drug use is not cool at age 30 or older. It is just addiction. Getting drunk or high is not worth the hangover that lasts for 3 days when you have a demanding job. Start exercising if you do not already. Being overweight causes many more health issues as you age and your health declines. Be smart and frugal with your money now. There is nothing more depressing than seeing older adults who must work because their retirement savings are depleted and Social Security or welfare barely covers the bills. Having a paid-off car is far better than trading for a new car payment every 3 to 5 years. Additionally, trying to keep up with others only traps you in payments designed to impress people, supported by debt. Story 45. Buying collectibles as an investment is a terrible idea. If you are truly trying to invest money, try land, stocks, bonds, or precious metals that you actually physically possess. If it is stored for you elsewhere without you actually seeing or touching it, it is a probable scam. I am not saying do not collect. I am saying collect only for the pleasure it brings. Do not expect to even get back your money on it. Something may become valuable, but do not count on it. Story 46. We are all the same as the nameless dead animal on the side of the road you speed by without giving a second thought. Some other creature will be eating soon enough. Most everything about how you are supposed to be, what you are supposed to be, or the significance of anything that happens is a lie if you zoom out just a touch. Everything is fleeting, so prioritize what you can do right now to maximize everything. That includes maximizing investments in the future. Story 47. The fact that being likable and pleasant to be around has helped me far more in my career than trying to act like the smartest person in the room who does not care about anyone else's opinion. Story 48. No major insights in your 30s. That decade is your sweet spot between life experience and physical ability. You will not get a better alignment of these in your lifetime. Your 40s are a major wake-up call for how physically frail we all become with time. Story 49. You have to look out for yourself. You are your worst enemy and best friend. Which one do you want to spend time with more? Do not be unkind to your future self because it is coming much faster than you realize. Lead with kindness and carry a big stick. Story 50. The reason people tell you to toughen up or be strong is often so that you will think you are too strong to need boundaries, time, love, respect, affection, acknowledgement, and appreciation. Do not waste time waiting for people who have not shown you any of these to suddenly do what is best for you. You do what is best for you, for yourself and the people who make you feel safe and happy. Story 51. Turning 30 felt very freeing. I no longer felt like I had to be doing cool things because I am in my 20s. Now I go to bed when I want to, say no to things I do not feel like doing, and no longer care about the opinions of people I do not hold dear. Of course, this was not something that happened overnight. I tried for a few years to care less about what others think, but something about finally hitting 30 just made it click. Story 52. You can be completely mistreated in life through no fault of your own, such as layoffs or health problems. Most people who wrong you will face no consequences. Story 53. 1. In terms of physical fitness, younger is better for everyone. You will slowly decline, and so will everyone else. It is noticeable. Value your young body while you have it. 2. Calling someone old or criticizing them for their age is completely senseless because you will be there yourself before you know it, and surviving to old age is actually a commendable achievement. 3. Start investing as early as possible. You do not want to miss those compounding gains. The gains over 50 years are substantial. Over 20 years, not as much. For wisdom is a real thing. Most people learn life lessons just by virtue of being alive, although they learn them at varying rates and some people get stuck. Regardless, you are much more likely to receive good advice from your elders than your peers in your age group. Do not be afraid to ask older people or your parents for advice. 5. Time really does heal, as long as you are capable of looking forward instead of backward. Story 54. 40 was much more challenging mentally than I had imagined. I really had to come to terms with not being young anymore. Story 55. I am 30 years old. I have many co-workers in the trades who retire and then pass away. I realized that you need to have a long-term drive for something. If you retire and your only hobbies are work, talking about work, drinking, and playing golf, you might be very unhappy later on. I am often scoffed at for being into motorcycles, but my wife supports me because she is enthusiastically into plants, so she understands. I want to make sure I am healthy in retirement so I can continue doing the things I love, like being with family and enjoying hobbies. This is what I have realized as I have gotten older. Story 56. Do not judge your progression by age. Young people often feel horrible because they have not progressed to the degree they envisioned. There will always be peers who have. Just keep doing things right and you will be fine. Story 57. When you are young, you long for freedom, and when you get older, you long for the same thing. As a child, you are beholden to your parents, school, and a lack of money that prevents you from doing whatever you want. When you get older, you are beholden to your spouse, your children, your job, and your bills. This is not necessarily a bad thing. You can love your spouse, your children, and even your job, but still long for the freedom to take a walk or wander around the store for a couple of hours by yourself. There is a period in between when you get to choose these things. However, you may not understand the long-term consequences of these choices until much later. Therefore, you have to try to make the best decisions and have a vision for where you want to go. Story 58. 2 things stand out. 1. When someone tells you who they are, that can safely be ignored. People will show you who they are. Materialism is a complete con. This applies to anything related to appearances, such as wanting to appear a certain way. Story 59. Not moving around a lot really catches up to you. Knees make a popping, cracking, or clicking sound when standing up, and it takes a while to get things moving once you start. Story 60. That blame is one of the most useless exercises one can engage in. It externalizes responsibility, builds anger, and locks people into negative, paralyzing spirals that lead to bitterness. It is important to hold people accountable, yes, but only as far as your boundaries require. In almost all cases, who is at fault for something is irrelevant to your life, and most people would be better off taking personal responsibility for the things that are within their control. Story 61. When it comes to health and diet, you cannot outsmart the system. Do the basic things like going to the doctor and eating fiber. It will pay off. I tried keto, fasting, paleo, and the classic fake gluten intolerance in my 20s. It was mostly a waste of time and mental energy. Now I am seeing the sugar diet appear on YouTube. People will try anything to avoid the boring truth. Story 62. I fell in love with a girl, my ex-wife now, during my college days. We had a strong bond. My love for her was so pure that I always tried to make myself a better person every day. After 6 years, I learned she was cheating on me with her high school friend. It was so ridiculous. I cannot explain the mental trauma I went through those days. The feelings were worse than hell. I wanted to end everything. I am 32 now. I have become careless about people and what they think. I live as I want. I drink, have fun, and have casual relationships. Now I am living my life fully. Story 63. 1. The friendships you put time and effort into pay off in your 30s. It is easier to make friends in your 20s, so make sure you make as many as possible. You are the average of the people around you. If you surround yourself with successful, hardworking people, you will also become successful. Compound interest is very powerful. If you start saving no matter how little, in 10 years it will be a lot. It is easier to build muscle and lose weight in your 20s than in your 30s. Explore the world while nothing is tying you down, so you have no regrets when you have children, a spouse, and work keeping you busy later in life. The worst things that have happened to you currently will be just jokes in the future. Story 64. People will look you in the eyes and lie to your face. If you have something to do, get it done. Do not waste time. Nobody cares about your excuses. Save them. Story 65. Life is a series of paths not taken. By the time you are 30, probably half of those paths are already gone, and more disappear year by year. That is not to scare anyone. It is just a cold, hard truth that the time is gone. There are many things for which you get one chance and one opportunity, and you need to have made that choice early on. But there does come a peace in knowing that what you have is enough. Everything you have done is enough. You do not need to win every race to live a happy life and make the lives of those around you decent. Story 66. In reality, no one except a select few people genuinely cares about you. What you can offer is much more important in this world than who you are. Story 67. A whole bunch of people are really mean and they like being mean. It is hard not to turn into an unpleasant person yourself, and good people are rare. But they do exist, and what you learned as a child is true. Being good, understanding, and kind is harder than the opposite. The dark side really is quicker and more seductive, and many do fall for it and become hard and uncaring, but they still contain multitudes. If you are not careful, you will harden yourself and use the strength that you do have not to protect, but to hurt. Also, problems are always more complex than they seem. When anyone wants to put people into just two groups, us or them, pretty or ugly, good or evil, they are wrong. There are always more than just two options, and people are way more complex than that person wants to admit because it would not fit into the neat narrative they are trying to construct. Story 68. Love is real, deep, and intrinsic to our emotional well-being, but no person is worth being an emotional slave to. If you are putting in the work and the person you choose is not, they are not for you, and it is okay to let that go. You can love, but you do not have to share it automatically. Story 69. A good bed matters. Do not skimp on a good bed. It makes all the difference when getting out of bed every morning. Story 70. Things are going to start hurting, and you should not wait too long to see a doctor because it will not get better overnight like when you were 20. You are going to need more rest and recovery time after strenuous activity. You are going to stop liking loud noises. You will value spending time at home with your family more. Story 71. Being a value-forward person, seeking to add value to others before yourself, is the best way to maximize your success. People who focus on providing significant value to others attract more allies and develop valuable skills that create more opportunities for a better life. Ask not what people can do for you. Ask what you can do for people. Story 72. Serious signs of your body breaking down start in your 30s if you neglected to take care of it in your 20s. Story 73. Life is finite. There are only a fixed number of years to do the things you want, spend time with the people you love, and build the life you want to live. While this number is not entirely fixed, lifestyle choices can only influence it so much. Unfortunately, serious health issues can occur without any obvious reason. Story 74. You are not in your prime, but you are not dead either. You are not going to become an Olympic athlete, but your body is capable if you train it. Story 75. Have you ever heard the saying, the world does not owe you anything? If you agree with that, then the opposite should also be true. You do not owe the world anything. By that, I mean it is okay not to care about all the bad things you see in the news if you do not want to. You do not need to care about a person you have never met or a place you have never been that you see in a news story. Story 76. Sometimes there is urination and defecation. You can urinate without defecating, but you cannot defecate without urinating. Story 77. Personally, I believe that everything is within my control and reach. I control the narrative. Sure, my body is declining, but because I was never into weightlifting or fitness, I have just discovered what it takes to get into shape. In a way, I am reaching my best peak form. It pays to have been overweight growing up. Story 78. I care much less about things in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I wish I had the mentality I have now back then. Story 79. If someone has a problem with me, it is not my problem. When I start to think about why someone did what they did, I quickly remember, why would I care? Story 80. Just have fun. The idealized forever partner and job security are not real. Standing on principle will often just make everyone dislike you. These are different people and different times. Words that can be defined in the dictionary are sometimes used to gaslight you in real time, as if the definitions are flexible and not fixed. I cannot change who I am, as I have disciplined myself this way over time, but I hope other men will figure it out. Story 81. No matter what you decide to do, somebody will have a problem with it. Literally no matter what. So why not do what you want to do? At least you will be happy in the end. Story 82. Other people's opinions of you do not matter at all if you do not want them to, so do not listen. Be whoever you want to be and find people who support it. You can train yourself to be happy, and it is not a bad thing. Story 83. When you are young, people will take a chance on you if you are organized and have potential. These kinds of opportunities fade as you age. Story 84. You really cannot eat whatever you want anymore. You will gain weight if you do not eat healthily and exercise regularly. Like Adam Sandler said, yeah, when I was your age, I could eat anything I wanted. I would not gain an ounce. Now, I have a chocolate shake, and my body jiggles for like a week. Story 85. More often than not, the best of times are right now. We are just too busy or stressed to realize it. Do not play the comparison game. If you are in good health, you are winning. Story 86. When you get older, your body is less forgiving of the lazy party lifestyle. So you start to take better care of your body, and suddenly you have a better body than ever. The same applies to many things in life: mental well-being, relationships, finances, and more. Youth is wasted on the young. Story 87. No one is coming to save you. Stop blaming the past for your future. It is an excuse, and you owe it to yourself to take charge of your own life. Story 88. It is going to cost what it costs. When I need it now, it will always be more than I expect to pay. Story 89. That our Ask Men Over 30 is a way healthier community that provides far better, more mature, and more thoughtful advice and support than our Ask Men. Most of the people coming here for thoughtful answers would do far better to ask their questions over there instead. Story 90. Do not worry about turning 40. It is the best time. You are in a stable routine, everything still works as it should if you are taking care of yourself, and you will truly stop caring what anyone thinks of your life. Story 91. Something I remember my Spanish teacher telling me decades ago was to not sleep angry. It is probably the smartest advice I have ever received. It is true. It is so true. Story 92. Life is too short to care what people think about you. Do you? Forget everyone else. Took me way too long to realize. Story 93. People often do not feel understood by you until you restate what they said in your own words. If they do not feel understood by you, they will never change their minds. Story 94. I have said it before on this subreddit, and I will say it again. No one cares about you, only what you provide and what they get from that. Story 95. The one that got away. She was probably the only person for you. You made a mistake. You will never be happy now. Story 96. Everything they say about diet and exercise becomes real quickly, and the struggle to be fit is twice as difficult. Relationships, whether familial, friendship, or romantic, bear more fruit now. If you have not invested in them, the absence shows. If you have, the harvest tastes much sweeter. Story 97. Grunting when you bend down to pick something up or when you get up from sitting. I do it occasionally. It seems to come out on its own. As a youngster, I never thought I would do this. I do have minor back pain. When I sit on my couch in the living room, my posture has always been poor, which I suppose has taken its toll. Maybe it is psychological. How does grunting help me bend down to pick something up? Story 98. You are too old for social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X. It's like the 40-something guy at the club. Sure, you have every right to be there, but maybe it's time to hang up the dance shoes, cologne, and the button-up shirt you only button up 3/4 of the way. Story 99. Living next to a troubled neighbor for 5 years. Do not do drugs. If you keep getting in trouble with the law, change your friend group and take care of yourself mentally and physically because no one else will. Story 100. The world owes you absolutely nothing, and no one cares about who has wronged you or your situation. Eventually, you need to accept that who you become is your responsibility. Also, stop complaining about women so much. I assure you, it's not your height that is holding you back. It's your attitude. Story 101. You start to age out of career fields at 30, such as pilot, police officer, firefighter, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and so on. If you are like me and chose something in your 20s that you no longer want to pursue, you have very little time to pivot. Your body needs proper daily maintenance. Yoga and swimming help me immensely. You start to age out of the interest of younger women. I was told, but I'm only 22. The other day when approaching a woman, well, I guess she does not consider herself old enough for that title. Story 102. All the work I did to make myself financially stable in my late teens and 20s was completely worth it. In my late 20s, I lost everything, but I was able to recover quickly due to having great friends and a great job. I am married with a child on the way now. Story 103. 1. 95% of people will die alone. 2. 95% of human connections can be a waste of time. 3. People come and go. 4. Most connections nowadays are about seeking attention, nothing more. 5. No one really cares. You need to take action for everything. Story 104. Life is a game of musical chairs, and eventually the music stops. Every opportunity not taken becomes a permanent regret. Story 105. You know that even if you desire and maybe even indulge in other girls, none could ever replace the woman you chose to be your wife. Story 106. If you work hard and constantly focus on yourself, you will get ahead in life. Do not be too giving to others. You have to think for yourself constantly. Story 107. Having children is wonderful. If you invest in yourself and your career in your 20s, you will start to reap the rewards in your 30s. Remember to contribute to your retirement fund. Other people matter, you matter. Be kind, pay yourself, love your family and friends. People around you will pass away. Friends may struggle or make poor choices for a time. Learn to cook if you haven't already. Learn to be handy around the house if you haven't already. Eventually, you may have neighbors who are difficult and challenging. Keep learning. Learn to clean and organize properly. Eat well and exercise. Remember, everything can be good or bad. It depends on how you measure it. Story 108. Being myself rather than overcompensating has gotten me much further in my professional and personal life. Story 109. In your mid-40s, you start thinking about death and look forward to waking up with zero responsibilities until you pass away. Story 110. I do not know, but being 33 and reading some of this is comical. I did not ask, but I feel much better about myself after this thread. Story 111. I think I am living the life I should have been living between the ages of 18 and 25, but only started after I turned 30. I spent all my earlier years in long-term domestic relationships. The last one ended on my 30th birthday, and since then, I have been enjoying the single life, traveling, and meeting new people. Story 112. Prioritize time with your biological family, especially your children. There is a high chance that the time with your spouse is limited and they may move on to someone else. Women are enjoyable, but remember that you are primarily a resource for them. Story 113. Everything does hurt. Also, when something does hurt, do not shrug it off. It is no longer a growing pain. It is now an aging pain. Never hesitate to make a doctor appointment for anything that feels off. As a former cancer patient, I have seen and am still seeing too many people around me being diagnosed with or passing from cancer and similar conditions because they refused to see a doctor when symptoms first began. If you have insurance, make the best use of it. Story 114. This is a make-believe world. It is filled with illusion and constantly seeks to exploit you. You are both the slave and the slave driver. You are financing your own enslavement, and life will only get worse with time. Any excuse is slave morality and collective Stockholm syndrome. Story 115. You are never attached to anyone here. You are just spending time to make sure it's worth watching in reverse. I saw some picture saying daughter is illegitimate, son is legitimate. Just as they came, they must leave. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.